Hey, what's going on, everyone? First off, happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. Hopefully, y'all are getting stuff, enjoying time with your families, or whatever you feel like doing on Thanksgiving that tickles your fancy. So, there you go. Well, I'm going to talk about our victory over the Minnesota Vikings, where we unexpectedly blew them out, which I didn't see coming. Then I'm definitely going to be talking my thoughts about this upcoming game today against the Giants, and we're both 7-3. But let's get on with the Vikings victory. The Cowboys won, blew out the Vikings 40-3. The Vikings were 8-1 coming into that game, and all I can say is, how about them Cowboys in that game? Dak Prescott looked like he was, rejuvenated. He completed 88% of his passes, threw for 2 touchdown passes. I know one of them was to Tony. Well, both of them were to Tony Pollard. Zeke ran in for a couple of scores. Maher, of all things, kicked back-to-back 60-yard field goals, which I didn't see him making because it seemed like now he wasn't doing so well on the long-distance field goals. But shockingly, he did. And props to Maher. He's had a pretty damn good season for us this time. Much better than the first season with us and for a majority of the 2019 season where he was struggling and he ended up getting cut after that Bears game. So there you go. But I think having an actual special teams coach in John Fossil, really makes a difference compared to what we had in 2018 and 2019. So, or maybe Maher's confidence is just through the roof this time, so who knows. But props to Maher for making those. He even did better on that second attempt and, of course, made it. So there you go. As for Kirk Cousins, he didn't throw any picks, but he was just destroyed and demolished. I think that was apparently that was the most time we sacked Cousins ever. And I know we've had our way against Cousins. He's gotten a victory against us before back in 2019 where we lost to the Vikings 28-24. But, the Vikings were 8-1. There's no question that they were, a good team. Yeah, they won a lot of close games. The only loss was actually to the Eagles, where they lost by 17. That was, their only worst game. But other than that, they were 7-0 after that, of course. So, and I know they barely just, beat the Bills, a game they probably should have lost. But hey, Vikings came back for a reason and won that game. So you can't say the Vikings are a bad team like a lot of people have said, like the analysts or certain fans. I mean, come on. They're not 3-8. They're not 4-5. They're not 5-6. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what their record is. They're 8-1. They were a damn good team. I don't want to hear any more bullshit saying, "Oh, you didn't beat a good." Yeah, we fucking did, and their turf. So you know what? I don't want to hear that shit. We won decisively. We could have put more, but we decided to pull back, and thankfully we let Cooper Rush, play for the last third of the fourth quarter. And Micah Parsons, he got 2 sacks. Dorrance Armstrong got his sacks. I think Fowler got his sacks as well. Lawrence got his one. So the defensive line just feasted off the Vikings O-line. I know their starter, Christian, whatever his name was, he went out with a concussion. You would think that, despite him being out, the Vikings would still, put up a good fight, and they didn't. Cousins was pressured and just was destroyed and demolished. We basically just, demoralized the Vikings. Now, they could easily still win more games after this, but man, we just never gave up. We forced a fumble. Unfortunately, we were only able to get 3 points, but after that, the whole offense, they were a cohesive unit. This was probably Kellen Moore's best play calling game that allowed the success, because once you got Pollard involved and had a good running game with him, and even Zeke got some decent yards here and there, even though he was still dealing with a knee injury. But still, the offense, this is probably their best game they ever played. There was maybe one little mistake on when Kellen Moore tried to get cute and try to throw a pass. Of course, it was incomplete. Just grind it out, man. Just stick with the fucking run, because we can run on teams. If we just feed Pollard and Zeke, and if they get the necessary yards, there's no stopping our offense. There's no question about it. We just grind it out with that running game. We're going to be tough to stop. And we have CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, I guess you can say Brown to a certain degree, Noah Brown. And I'm trying to think of who else. There's a possibility that Odell Beckham. I've heard all about the the possibility of him coming here. He's trying to decide either between us and the Giants, and I guess the winner of this game, will decide that factor. So a great win over the, excellent win over the Vikings, dominating fashion. I can't say any more, can't complain about that. But still, I want the Cowboys to still be focused. I still want them to be determined. I don't care what the Giants' record is. They're tied with us. They definitely have some injuries of their own. We're actually still having some injuries. I know that Hankins sadly will not be playing, as is Basham, and a lot of other guys are questionable because of illnesses. I know Gallimore, Wilson, Joseph, and I think a couple other players. I'm not really sure, but they are dealing with illnesses all around. So yeah, we're dealing with a rash of injuries of our own for sure. And Giants have, from what I heard, 4 of their starters on the O-line are going to be out. There's only going to be maybe 1 starter on there, and the rest are going to be backups. Even Evan O'Neal, who DeMarcus Lawrence had pretty much owned his ass in the previous Giants game, had 3 sacks on him at least. And they are out. Their wide receiver, who is pretty fast, I forget what his name is, he's out with the ACL injury. They still have Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, so I have no doubt that for this game versus the Giants, I have no doubt that they're going to try to run the ball on us. We did decent against Dalvin Cook. We held him to like 75 yards rushing, but still he had like 6.2 yards per carry, and Saquon can easily have that. He did have a decent game against us in the first game, so the D-line is definitely going to have to step up and maintain their gap integrity and discipline. We do that, we definitely will win. And our pass rush, depending on who's available and who's actually going to play, we definitely should be feasting on this Giants O-line. But I've seen how backups can somehow have a good game against us all of a sudden for whatever reason. But, I have no doubt the Giants are going to put up a fight. There's no question about that. But this time Dak is playing in this game. He definitely should go off very well on them, for sure. If he plays like he did against the Vikings and less what he did against the Packers, a combination of the Vikings game and the Chicago game, where he's not trying to force the ball, if he gets Tony Pollard involved, you get CeeDee Lamb involved, Gallup involved, we definitely should have a good game offensively for sure. Dak has only been sacked 7 times since coming back, I think. Or sometimes total, I don't know. But anyway you slice it, with Dak, we're definitely scoring a lot more points in comparison than we did with Cooper Rush. Although Cooper Rush, was able to, avoid turnovers except for that Philly game. He was able to, get the ball to where he needed to. And Dak can do that and a little more. So if he does his thing, doesn't turn the ball over, if he gets pressure, just throw it away. Don't take the sack. We do our thing like we did against the Vikings, and we just pound the ball. We're going to win this game easily. Defense definitely needs to step it up and maintain their gap discipline, especially with Hankins not being there. Gallimore's questionable, so is Wilson, so is Joseph. A lot of other players with the illness, even Lawrence and Parsons is questionable. But from what I understood, they're both going to play in the game. And that's why eventually I found out that we activated Tack McKinley, our recent signing back like a week ago or so. So yeah. This definitely should be an interesting game for sure. We dominate on both sides of the ball. We're going to win in dominating fashion for sure. So I'm definitely excited. Hopefully we actually get a win, because we have not won a Thanksgiving game since 2018. The last time we faced the division rival Redskins, we won 31-23. And so this definitely should be, somewhat of a hard-fought game for a little bit, but I think we'll definitely pull away. But it all depends on if the Cowboys show up, maintain their gap discipline. I know I've said that many times. They stay disciplined, stopping the run, and breaking up any kind of passes that Daniel Jones tries to do, or even Daniel Jones himself will try to run, because he was able to run against us pretty well. If you spy on him, limit his carries, limit Saquon's carries and yards as well, we should win. So definitely going to be a good game for sure. Maybe a dominating win in the end. So yeah. That being said, go Cowboys. Let's get this victory. Let's get a Thanksgiving victory and go 8-3 and really just make a push for that division and maybe get better seeding come December, especially when we face against the Eagles. Hopefully our players will be well rested and healthy, and we'll be ready to make some noise in the playoffs. So that's what I'm hoping for, but you just never know. So anyways, I think that's going to do it for this video. Hope you like what you heard, and you know, feel free to comment, like, share, and do all the normal stuff. And hopefully y'all have a great Thanksgiving. Hopefully our Thanksgiving will be even better with this victory when we just when we have a victory against the Giants, and we'll keep moving forward and stack some more wins after that and just keep on trucking. So all right, I guess I'll see you folks later. Happy Thanksgiving, and go Cowboys. Bye-bye.